Hey everybody, today we're going to be installing a 3-inch lift kit on this Polaris RZR Turbo. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is remove all 4 wheels and tires. Then remove the front shocks from the machine. Next you're going to want to reroute the vent tube through this hole in the shock bracket, run it all the way to the opposite side. Then you're going to want to unclip your wiring harness from the shock bracket as well. We're going to take our passenger side shock mount, which on the packaging will be labeled R for right side. We're going to take our factory upper shock bolt. We're going to go ahead and install this bracket. Slide it into place. Next, take your cross brace, and we're going to install it from the driver's side to the passenger side shock mount. Whenever you're installing this, you want to make sure that the curved portion is facing back so it gets it away from the shroud and the fan. Once you've got it slid into place, come back over to the passenger side. You're going to want to grab your M8 by 25 millimeter bolts and your M8 nylock nuts and attach the cross brace to the passenger side shock bracket. Get your 4 bolts started, do not tighten. Once you have all your bolts started, you're going to want to grab your driver's side brace and 4 more M8 by 25 millimeter bolts and M8 nuts. Attach the shock brace and cross brace to the driver's side. You're going to take your factory shock bolt, slide it through the mount. Go ahead and start your nut, but do not tighten yet. Take our M8 by 25 millimeter hardware and attach the brace to the shock bracket, just like we did on the passenger side. Once you have all your hardware started and both your brackets are attached and your brace is attached to each of the brackets, we're going to go through and fully tighten all the hardware, starting with the upper factory shock bolt that we installed through the new SuperATV bracket. Once you have everything fully tightened, we're going to reinstall the shocks. We're going to be using the M10 by 1.5 by 60 bolt and the M10 by 1.5 nylock nut. Then using the factory hardware, reattach the shock to the upper A-arm. Once your hardware is fully tightened, repeat the steps for the opposite side. The front's all done, so now we're moving on to the rear. The first thing we're going to do in the rear is remove the shocks. Remove the upper and lower shock bolt. Then remove the shock from the machine. Now repeat the steps for the opposite side. Then you're going to grab 2 of your U-bolts and your M10 nuts. Take your U-bolt, slide it around the frame here, as well as all the way up here. Next, we're going to install our rear shock bracket on the driver's side. You want to make sure that this piece here with the angle is angled downward. Slide the bracket into place. You want to line it up with your factory shock mount there, and then this vent hose, you want to pull it over top just like this. Go ahead and take 2 of your M10 nuts, get them started on each of the U-bolts. Then take your factory shock bolt, slide it through this hole here, through the bracket. Then take the factory nut and start it on the back side. Once you have all your hardware started and your bracket in place, go ahead and go through and fully tighten all the hardware. Once the bracket is securely tightened to the machine, we're going to install our shocks. This machine came factory equipped with Walker Evans shocks, so we're going to make sure that we clock them like this so that the reservoir is facing towards the machine. Then where the shock bolts onto the trailing arm, you're just going to use your factory hardware. Now repeat the steps for the opposite side. Once you've got your bracket installed, you may wonder what these rubber caps are that come in the hardware kit. They're going to be for these bolts right here. So you're going to take the caps and thread them on to the studs of the U-bolt. It's going to keep the studs from puncturing a hole into the air tube here. You can do this without removing the tube, but we did just so we could show you all what we're actually doing in here. Once you have everything installed, go back through, double check all the bolts, reinstall your wheels and tires, and you're ready to ride. And there you have it. That's how super easy it is to install SuperATV's 3-inch lift kit on this Polaris RZR Turbo. For more information on this lift kit or any of SuperATV's great products, give us a call at 855-743-3427 or check us out online at superatv.com. Thanks for watching and have a great day.